How you doing everyone, and welcome back to another video on the Azit official channel. My name is Aaron Massey and we are on a good roll and I'm keeping the consistency here. We're in February 2022 and I'm going to be keeping more consistent over the next few months and continue to put out the most I can. So in this video today is going to be a little bit complex and a little bit advanced, but I'm going to do my best to break it down as simple as possible, so you watching this would be able to understand as well. Now in today's video we're going to talk about linear beats. Now you might think, what is a linear beat? Well, to understand the basics of a linear beat is when you're playing one note at a time. Basically one note for every beat. So with these three linear beats I'm about to show you, these are linear beats that I created myself. So I tried to make it as simple as possible, but also make the linear beat sound sick as well. So with understanding what a linear beat is, let's jump into the video. So with this first beat, the first beat is actually the hardest. It's played in a 30-second note. So the way to imagine it is being played in semiquavers. So that's 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. But the way I'm going to break it down is the 1 eander method. So 1 eander, 2 eander, 3 eander, 4 eander. So on beat 1 you're going to have your kick on beat 1, then your left hand played on the 1E on the high tom, then your right hand on the floor tom on the and of 1, and then your left hand on the snare drum on the R of 1. Then you're going to miss beat 2 but come in on the 2E, and you're going to have your left hand on the high tom, and then the ander of 2 you're going to have your right and then your left hand played on the floor tom. Then coming straight into beat 3 we're going to have the kick. We're going to have the kick on beat 3, then on 3E it's silent. Then on the and the R of beat 3, it's the floor tom with your right and left. And then what you're going to do on the beat of 4 is bring your right hand back on the snare drum. So then you pretty much repeat the same groove for the next 4 bars. But at the end of bar 4, the second time you're playing, there's 2 more notes added. So on the end of beat 4 with your right hand on the snare, and then the R of the beat 4 with your left hand on the snare. So I'm going to break it down at a slow tempo and see if you can follow along. Now what we're going to do with this groove, we're going to play at a slow tempo of 70 BPM. See if you can catch up with that, and then we're going to later on go up to 100 BPM, which is our main goal. Moving on to beat 2, this is a lot simpler. This is only played in the 16th note division, and for this beat it's only played on the hi-hat, the snare and the kick drum. So it's a lot more simple than the first beat, but it still sounds amazing to play. So let's get into it. Also we're going to be breaking it down again by doing the 1 eander method. So on beat 1 we have the kick drum, then on 1E we've got an open hi-hat, then on the and of 1 we've got the kick drum again, then on the R of 1 we've got a normal hi-hat. So during the whole of beat 1 you're going to keep your right hand on the hi-hat. Then moving over to beat 2 you're going to have your left hand played down on the snare. Then on 2E you're going to bring your right hand on the hi-hat, then you're going to bring your left hand up on the hi-hat on the and of 2, and then on the R of 2 is the kick drum again. Moving over to beat 3 you're going to have your right hand on the hi-hat, then your left hand on the hi-hat again on 3E, and then on the and R of 3 it's on the kick drum. Then moving on to beat 4, you're going to have your right hand played down on the snare drum. On 4E, we've got the kick drum played. And then on the and of 4, you're going to bring your right hand up again on the hi-hat. and then on the R of 4 is with your left hand on the hi-hat. So once again, we're going to break it down at a slow tempo, then play at a tempo of 70 BPM, then reaching our goal, which is 100 BPM. Now for this last beat, let's jump straight into it. This is probably my favorite one out of the three. So hopefully it won't be too hard for you, but again, break it down, play it at a slower tempo first before you gradually build yourself up to a faster tempo to play at. So on the beat of 1 is a kick drum. Then what we're gonna do is cross over our hands, so we're going to play our right hand on the high tom on the beat of 1E. Then on the and of 1, we're going to have our left hand played on the floor tom, and then on the R of 1 is going to be your right hand on the floor tom. In beat 1, what you're going to be doing is the crossover technique. Then moving on to beat 2, you're going to have your left hand played on the snare on beat 2. Then on 2E is the kick drum. Then on the and of 2, we're going to hit our right hand on the hi-hat. Then on the R of 2, you're going to use your left hand and hit the high tom. Now moving on to beat 3 is the kick again on beat 3. Then on the beat 3E, it's your right hand played on the floor tom. Then moving down to the and of 3, it's your left hand played on the hi-hat. Then on the R of 3, it's the kick drum again. Finally on beat 4, what you're going to have is your left hand played down on the snare drum. Then on 4E is the kick drum. Then lastly on the and of 4, you're going to have your right hand first played on the floor tom, and then on the R of 4 is your left hand on the floor tom again. So once more, we're going to break it down at a slower tempo, then to bring the tempo up to 70 BPM, and then reaching our goal, which is 100 BPM. Now once you have completed these linear beats, this is what it sounds like when you're playing it in one go. So those were the 3 creative linear beats. Now if you were struggling with this video, definitely go back and slow the video down if you have to. Go through the beats at a very slow tempo before you start building up. These creative linear beats are there to help you as a guide to eventually playing more linear beats. You could even take these beats and kind of create your own linear style groove. But that's it for today's video, so make sure to, again, I don't have to keep reminding you, but you should know by now to like, comment and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next video. Also do share this with other people around you. I'll be doing more stuff like this. There's also another cover I'm doing very soon, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I will definitely do another video with easier linear beats to learn as well. So that's it for this week. I'll see you back next week, and remember, subscribe. Hope you have a good week. Take care, guys.